死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに家賃が多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君もまだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランドトライドまで。
ゼロ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだと大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そう言い放せるで。
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage I. of the 199. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If you can't, let me know. We're working on hotel Wi-Fi here, so we'll see what happens. I have no idea. But mic sounds bad. Hot mic. Fucking shit. All right, how about now? Testing. Is that better? Testing. Is that better? Everybody's yelling three different things at me, so I have no idea. So testing. Muted, better. That's good. Now it's good. That's better. Too loud. Top streamer indeed. Okay, good. All right. You know what? You're not here for production value, are you? Hi, everyone. Welcome in to CobraCast 199. Yes, I am in Orlando, Florida, getting ready for Epic Universe opening day tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. So I have been a little out of the loop on news today. However, I did see the glorious masterclass that President Trump put on today. And man, it was absolutely fantastic. And we're going to watch that. We're going to cover that. You've got Megyn Kelly just putting just exposing Jake Tapper for the clown that he is. You got James Comey out there lying about all type of shit. So yeah, man, it's been a hell of a day to say the least. So there's just not a day that goes by where President Trump is not just destroying someone. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yes, he embarrassed a South African president today. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about that right now. But I got this clip where he goes off on a reporter. So let's watch this clip where he goes off on a reporter really quick, because it's just so damn funny, dude. Like, Trump just absolutely does not care. And that's exactly the type of person we need running things. So here we go right here.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
It just treats them like children. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen, man. Oh my God, it's so great. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, hey, Jeremy, your audio sounds excellent tonight. That being said, I better super chat before your hotel Wi-Fi wigs out. I'm in a different hotel tonight. I'm actually at a Universal hotel, so I think the internet's going to be much better tonight. I wasn't supposed to get to town yesterday, but I wanted to go ahead and get here yesterday just to kind of get a couple things done, because tomorrow's a very, very early morning. I've got to get up. I think I have to be up around 4:30 a.m. We got to be over at Epic Universe around 5:30. And it's going to be a full day. We will be live from Park Hoppin', from Epic Universe. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be awesome. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Dark Schwartz Rising for 50. Let's freaking go. Hell yeah. Thank you, Dark Schwartz Rising, and says absolutely nothing. Nothing. Thank you, Dark Schwartz Rising. Zinni Biscuit says, South African president, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, absolutely. And we're going to go over all of that, dude. What Trump did today, dropping the receipts, holy crap, man. I was running around Orlando getting things done, and I'm sitting there going, I need to be on CobraCast right now. I need to be live covering this glorious beatdown, but we're here now. Cliff says South African president went through the 5 stages of grief in less than 15 seconds. 5 of those seconds was him looking for the exit. Pure gold. Absolutely. Pat Patriot says, still not tired of winning. Maximus BT says, where are my breeds at? And for those that are asking, I'm not on Rumble. It's too much for me to juggle from the mobile setup and everything. So didn't do the Rumble link, but that is why right there. Packing Proton says, turns out my family company got a Secret Service call this week to help out with a building project, making America great again, even with little simple things. And I thought about this today, watching all this stuff from Trump, but it's like, what are we going to do when this guy's gone, man? What are we going to do? There's nobody even remotely close. What are we going to do when this guy's gone? Here we go. Let's listen to more.
I talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, Anna Disaster from EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation
I
that we've
don't
just
know.
seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days.
So I want to come back to this one here in just a minute, because there's actually and I know most of you have already seen it, but the actual beatdown is the best part. And what he did today was one of the most glorious things I have seen in a long time. There's actually a lot to talk about today. I know some of you have said something about the Bongino stuff. We're definitely going to talk about the Bongino stuff. Don't worry about that. But watching this whole thing in its entirety is the best thing ever. I saw this from Mostly Peaceful Memes. Jamie, pull that up. Trump is just like a real life podcaster at this point. Jamie, pull that up. It's amazing, dude. You can't find better entertainment than what we have right now with President Trump. You just can't do it. So is this it right here? Okay, here's the full clip right here. Let's watch this full clip right here. This glorious full clip from President Trump. It's just must-see TV.
What does it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me,
Thank you, Mr. President.
it will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these 3 gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture, he would not be with me.
So what's interesting is he actually brought, was it Ernie Els? He brought a couple of golfers, and he did that to basically, he was trying to kiss up to Trump by doing that. It didn't work. It didn't work at all.
So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And that, is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things. And it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. Can we draw my membership from this useless parliament? Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot, kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa, pa.
Oh yeah, you could tell. He knows. He's like, fuck, this dude don't mess around. It is so glorious. It is the best thing I have ever seen. Doc Hollywood for $100. Holy crap. Glad you clarified where you're streaming from. I was worried you were in a motel rented by the hour. No, dude, it's, I don't want to say what hotel I'm in, but if you've ever been to Universal, I will say this hotel was featured on The Apprentice, actually. Donald Trump sent his team to this hotel for a task on The Celebrity Apprentice. That was actually kind of cool when he sent them, because he worked with Universal Studios. But this is one of their kind of, it's not one of the top tier hotels, but it's one of their standard hotels. Thank you, Doc Hollywood. I appreciate it, brother.
The man of DAPE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Pajama and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this white man. We are cutting the throat of white men. Shoot, kill, Yamasa. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer.
Dude, do you know how much of a Chad you have to be to sit in a room full of all of these powerful people? And he's like, turn the lights down and watch this. And he's making every single person in the Oval Office and the media watch this. There is truly no one that has the aura and the balls that this dude has. It's absolutely insane, man. And as I tweeted it out, he's the greatest president of all time. He just absolutely is, man. This is unbelievable. Doug Beat for 20 says South African prez got happy, excited about at first about the TV, then immediately had an oh shit moment. That's right. And we're witnessing it right now.
will say to you, was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future.
Yeah, but, I mean, you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets scared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocide on that.
He is so uncomfortable right now. He's so uncomfortable. This is so great.
We will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lying.
And while it's obviously funny to watch Trump make this clown uncomfortable, it's actually pretty horrible what we're seeing and what we're learning about this. So, I just want to make sure that while I'm laughing at the situation, the details are absolutely terrible.
End up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. Okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa. That's where.
We need to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I love Trump's like, it's in South Africa. It's in your fucking country. Why are you asking the president of the United States of America where something's happening in your own country when you are the one that denied it was even happening? Holy shit.
Those people.
Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter.
The context makes it so much better. Now, again, I've been out and about all day because I'm traveling, so I didn't really now I've seen it with the context, and it's, oh my goodness. I did not know the context made it even that much better. It was already awesome, But yeah, the context makes it even better. Holy crap. 1992 space movie says the South African president looks like me when my mom pulls up my report card on her computer after telling her I didn't get it at school. Jeremy still won't read my super chat because he's in parts unknown. What's up, 1992 space movie? Hail to you. Jeremy the Cyborg says, left the house today for the first time in 3 months yesterday. Went and bought a new car. A difficult mental situation for me, but I powered through. Brother, that's what I'm talking about. And you know everybody here has full support for you, man. So we're happy for you, man. Keep us updated on everything. But that's a huge first step, man. So really appreciate you sharing that with all of us, man. And keep us posted, man. Keep us posted. Let's see. Fantastic Knox says, idiot South African president. We need help. Let's see. Gives money. Trump, watch the video. Trump's a beast while the South African president sits quietly. It was glorious, man. Bissy says, the South African here, one of the golfers SA president brought with him, got a chance to talk, and what he said actually backfired on the South African president. Really? Oh my gosh, man. God, it was so good. Eric K says they arrived in 1652 and bought the land from Swazi king. Confirmed again in 2018 by the current Swazi king. They bought Zulu land, not stolen. Zinni Biscuit says, makes me wish my Zimbabwe uncle was still alive. He'd have a lot to say about this. R.I.P. Uncle Andrew. R.I.P. indeed. Samuel B says, I'm late. What's the rundown? Trump did a smackdown on the South African president today in the Oval Office. He also went after the media, and there's a lot more going on as well. Interstellar Overdrive says last week, I don't know how to say that. Is it Ramaphosa says the white refugee from SA were cowards. He knows exactly what's going on in his country and is playing dumb. Of course, they always play dumb. Commodore Fan says, we need to start praying JD Vance has even half the balls Trump does for a chance to keep MAGA going into the future. Trump has no fear. I love it. Tevin becomes a new member. Thank you. Femcell Beardo says, man, they're so eager for blood in those. Kill those war chants. I don't know how to say that in the Falcon and the Winter. Oh, yeah, like that. Yeah, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. RH Diver says, my wife is South African. She and her family left many years ago to get away from this. Blacks will ruin SA too. Brockatron for 20 says non-YouTube immigrants get to come to the U.S. when they can somehow afford nice clothes, a place to live, a car, can't speak English, but Whitey is being killed and literally lynched, and Whitey is still bad. The left wants them bye-bye. The left hates you, man. And that I'm not breaking any news by telling you that, and we're learning more and more about that every single day. Just like when the whole thing happened today. And what happened? Mainstream media tries to change the subject. They try to change the subject immediately. But once it all ended, we got this one right here from Fox News and Peter Doocy covering it. And dude, this was like, I mean, what was it when it was Zelensky? Everybody's like, we've never seen anything like this, yada, yada, yada. Well, we got another one today because this is what President Trump does.
Moment, another open to the cameras moment in the Oval Office, meeting with the South African president, President Trump there. A very open conversation. At one point, the president's staff playing out a video showing these claims of genocide in South Africa, which its leader has refuted. An amazing moment, Trace, and welcome everybody. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, to watch this in real time.
Yeah, and I'm Trace Gallagher in Los Angeles. John Roberts has the day off. This is America Reports. It really was fascinating because it became this kind of very congenial press conference between the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as the President Trump. And they had golfers, Ernie Els, Retief Goosen from South Africa.
I just got an alert on my phone that, and I saw someone said it earlier too, but Jim Irsay has died at 65. Jim Irsay was the Indianapolis Colts owner. I don't know if he's had some health problems or whatever. I know he had was he in like drugs and alcohol? Didn't he have like alcohol and drug issues several years ago? But so Jim Irsay, Colts owner, dead at 65. So I don't know the details surrounding it.
And it was very fun. And then they played the video, Sandra, of these allegations, the video of these groups, including groups that Elon Musk has pointed out, like the economic freedom fighters, that believe that.
By the way, Elon was in the Oval Office, and I saw pictures of Elon staring daggers at the South African president. Because from what I understand, they won't allow Elon to do business in their country, from what I understand, if that's true. But I saw a picture of Elon just staring daggers into him.
There is genocide, that have called for genocide in South Africa, this time against white farmers. President Trump has given those farmers refugee status. He was asked a question about whether he believes there is genocide, and he said he didn't know. But he clearly is concerned that some white farmers in South Africa are being targeted because he has done many things to try and alleviate those harms.
Another moment of transparency from this White House, the promised transparency. This went for about an hour and 6 minutes. Trace, let's bring in Peter Ducey, our White House correspondent, is standing by. Not only did they play out the video, Peter, but also talking about the G20, President Trump saying he feels it's important to them for South Africa to look good at the G20. He at one point held up copies of articles about South Africans saying these are deaths. What is the reaction so far there?
Sandra and Trace, I didn't even know that you could dim the lights in the Oval Office, which is decades old. Seems like a place that would just have an on or off switch, but President Trump called for the lights.
Is Trump the first president that's ever had the lights dimmed in the Oval Office? That's pretty great right there. Hang on. Oh, man. All right. That was good.
And Trace, I didn't even know that you could dim the lights in the Oval Office, which is decades old. Seems like a place that would just have an on or off switch, but President Trump called for the lights to be dimmed so that he could show this multimedia presentation to basically call the visiting South African president's bluff. The South African president came here to say there is no genocide happening in South Africa. President Trump basically said, okay, well, then what's all of this? And he showed political leaders and opposition leaders in South Africa saying some very heinous and violent things for several minutes. And he just made the South African president and the rest of the South African delegation sit there in the half-dark room and watch it. And afterwards, President Trump did want to talk a little bit about trade, and his visiting famous golfer friends from South Africa got to speak as well. He said he has not made up his mind, despite the presentation that he had the staff cut and put forward. He has not made up his mind yet about whether or not there's genocide happening. That is something the South African team strenuously denies. And it's worth pointing out that is definitely the most awkward Oval Office meeting since Zelensky was here. It ended a little bit better because I can.
Yeah, but like but that's so funny saying it's the most awkward Oval Office meeting since Zelensky. That wasn't that long ago. This just shows you how crazy that things are in the Trump White House. Like, things are moving so fast. That wasn't that long ago.
You can see the vehicle. It is not leaving. The South African delegation is not leaving early. They will be sticking around for lunch. But really, when you watch that, it seems like the Trump foreign policy doctrine is a lot like the old slogan for the MTV show The Real World, where people stop being polite and start getting real. And that's what we just saw from President Trump.
A couple of things, Peter, I noticed there. One was a good question from a South African reporter. She was asking about the G20 summit in South Africa coming up in November. President Trump said it was important that the United States be present at that. Didn't really commit to actually going to the G20 summit, so that's something yet to be seen. But I'm wondering about Elon Musk's hand in all of this. We know that he is South African. Elon Musk has complained again and again about that his Starlink satellite provider was not allowed to operate in South Africa, primarily because he is white. I'm wondering what the reaction there was and how much that played into the videotape playing, as you will, and the lights being dimmed in the Oval Office.
Yes, so the two things in order there, President Trump saying that the United States should be at the G20 doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to go, just that they should have a presence. And there's been some talk at the State Department recently about whether or not they should be engaging with anything early, because the G20 comes with many, many summits in the country, the host country, throughout the year before all the leaders go. So it doesn't necessarily mean that President Trump himself is going to go. As for Elon Musk, he has accused South African politicians of denying Starlink service because he is not black. He says that black business people are being prioritized over him. But what we heard from the South African delegation is they really want Starlink. They think that it could be a help to them in addressing some of the crime that they are dealing with there, and some of the gang issues, and improving business. And if they are going to be talking about trade, then it seems like they are going to work something out for Elon Musk to start using Starlink there.
All right, Peter Doocy, live at the White House there for us. Keep us posted. We'll get back to you. As the news warns, the vehicle, to your point, is still waiting there. Let's bring in special report anchor Brett Baer. He joins us now. Brett, great to have you here in New York. So first up, as we do continue watch the door of the White House there, the point of the South African president's visit, they said before this, was to reset relations with the U.S. amid these claims of white genocide in South Africa. So the South African president also brought along these two golfers, as we mentioned, Ernie Els and Retief.
Dude, I can't. Look at the memes are glorious, dude. You mofos are killing white farmers. What? Chat, clip this. You know what's reaction, please. God. Trump just needs to stream all this shit, dude. Like, Trump is the greatest streamer on the planet. All right, like, holy crap, this is great.
Goosen. Here was a moment where Retief Goosen attempted to follow through on that goal. Listen.
They live behind electric fences, try and be at night safe. But it is constant whenever you leave that something could happen. And
there's nowhere to live.
Both of them has been attacked in their houses. My mom's been attacked in her house when she was 80. So it is difficult, but the guys live a great life despite everything going on.
The president says he has huge concerns, Brett, over what is happening there. He said he's heard thousands of stories of this type of violence. What did you think of what we just saw?
Well, first of all, you pointed out before, it is pretty amazing to see this level of diplomacy, this openness. We've now seen it a number of different times at long length, taking questions.
This is President Trump. This is what he does. He puts everything out there. He's as transparent as he possibly can be right now. And it's even if you're not comparing it to the previous administration and how disastrous that was, even if you're not comparing it to that, it's still absolutely unheard of what he's doing.
Question after question, where essentially these behind the scenes conversations are right in everybody's living room. That's number one. Number two, I've never seen the video presentation to back up when someone says that's not happening, and then there's the video. I think that was definitely, planned to show the South African president what he's hearing and the allegations that he's seeing. I thought that the South Africans, by bringing Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, were playing their card because they know that President Trump loves golf, and listen to them as being kind of a moderating force between the government and also these allegations and trying to get to some solution. I thought it was fascinating that when the question came about the Qatar jet from NBC's Peter Alexander, the president wanted none of that, even though today officially the Defense Department accepted that jet for the U.S. Air Force. And then the South African president said,
and I just like people need to understand, like, you can say that like this might have been planned out or whatever. Of course it was planned out from that perspective. Trump has done this before without it being planned out. Do you remember what he did to Chris Wallace? I just pulled this up. Do you remember this clip right here? Remember what he did to Chris Wallace?
I think we have one of the lowest mortality rates in the world.
We're going to take a look. We had 900 deaths on a single day.
We will take a look
this week.
Ready?
You can check it out.
Could you please get me the mortality rate?
Yeah.
Kaylee's right here. I heard we had one of the lowest, maybe the lowest mortality rate anywhere in the world. Do you have the numbers, please? Because I heard we had the best mortality rate.
The case rate of similarly situated countries, as Dr. Burks points out, and this is
Number one low mortality rate. I hope you show the scenario because it shows what fake news is all about. Okay,
I don't think I'm fake news, but we'll put
there you were.
We'll put our stats on.
You said we had the worst mortality rate in the world, and we have the best. I think we have.
He's the best, man. He's the absolute best.
I'm sorry we don't have a jet to give you, a plane to give you. I thought it was all fascinating, and it could be an interesting thing whether the president does go to the G20 in South Africa.
I thought it was interesting, Brett, because you make a good point there when you had Ernie Els and you had Retief Goosen, but it was interesting that they seem to be very aware and very, much concerned about the president's argument. I mean, their whole thing was talking about their families and the farmers they have in their families and the pressure that they have faced and the, having to be behind these electric fences. So they seem to be very much on board that there is a problem going on in South Africa right now.
And I think that was the point. Also in the room was Johan Rupert. He's the chairman of Richemont, the luxury goods company, big billionaire in South Africa, and you heard him speak as well. I think though Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, Johan Rupert were all saying, let's keep the country together and not fall into a civil war, and to try to establish this relationship between the U.S. and South Africa and acknowledge the problems that are on the ground. There's another set of leaders that are really pushing, saying this has to stop, and really getting those allegations, those stories out there that the president did, a stack of papers on.
This obviously is all happening after President Trump cut off foreign aid to South Africa, alleging that these South African white farmers were the victims of genocide. The question, though, that was put to the reporter near the end there to the president directly was, is this genocide by definition? Is this what you are claiming is happening? Interesting, his response there. It wasn't a yes or no.
Right. He said he didn't know at this point. He was going in.
And there's not another, not even politician, but there's just not another prominent person that would be willing to fight for anyone based on race if it was a white race, except for President Trump. He's the only one. Anyone else would be scared of being called a white supremacist and all this other bullshit. It's insane. He even brought that up today, with the race. He's like, if there's any other race, he's the only one willing to do it.
Investigate more, and they're going to have talks behind closed doors. But the talks they just had in front of very open doors were really illuminating, I think, as you look at the outside of the West Wing. Every leader has to be prepared now for the possible Zelensky press moment. And I guess the South African president was aware that this could happen, but it was quite something to see it unfold over the last hour.
It's amazing to me to know what is the...
Wait. Dude, you're a member of the channel, Rob. Are you talking about me? You're literally a member of the fucking channel. I don't understand. Is this directed at me? Because that's a great cell phone if you're a member of the channel. And you had to accept the gift, you fucking idiot. So even if it was a gifted membership, you had to accept the gift. No, South Africa. Fuck. I was hoping to grift a little bit. Okay, hang on. You know what I got to do now? I got to gift fucking memberships. I fucked up. All right, I'm gifting the memberships now. You guys know how it works. If I make a mistake, I have to gift memberships. Here we go. Gifted memberships. This is from Rob. Rob Keith is about to drop gifted memberships on the channel. Not me, Rob. Here we go. Rob Keith just dropped. Hang on. Did it go through? Rob Keith just dropped 10 gifted memberships. There you go, sir. All right. Damn it, I was hoping to grift off of you, and I ended up costing myself money. Fuck. Anyway, let's finish this off.
What is the MO behind the White House? What's the idea behind this? What are they trying to convey here, Brett, when you have these press conferences that become these open forums for robust debate?
I think they're trying to say what we say to you that is happening behind the scenes is happening behind the scenes. And we are saying those same things to world leaders, pressing them on the issues that we want to press on, and also making deals when we can make deals. You know, I just finished for that Middle East trip. And I watched the president of each one of these countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. And I think he comes out of that trip with the sense that he can do a deal with any country and press them on some things, but get what the...
All right, shut up, Brett. Okay, so we have a lot more to cover. Let me catch up on some of these super chats really quickly. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Jared says, my team to Tottenham won a trophy today, first since 2008. Eric K says $10. I say the Geeks and Gamers crew ditches Jeremy at Epic. Yapping Tom says no Among Us tonight. Beardo is never the imposter. I think that they're running. Hang on. Let's see here. All right, I think they're running Mario Golf tonight. I think they're going to run some Mario Golf over on Play tonight. Just with everybody traveling and out of town. Zach Attack says, can't believe I'm saying this, but Marco Rubio is doing a better job than most of Trump's cabinet. Homan is still my favorite, though. Marco Rubio's crushing it. Absolutely crushing it, no doubt. JRG Project for 20 says the leftists wanted to turn the U.S. into what South Africa is today. If it wasn't for Trump, the U.K. and Canada are taking notes. The Anglo-Saxon branch of the Western world has lost their freaking minds besides the U.S. It's like I say, man, and thank you, Jeremy the Cyborg, with 10 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. I want everyone to just, because we do this a lot. I do it. We all have, we always look back and we go, oh man, you remember when, gaming was awesome, or when professional wrestling was awesome, or even me, I do it with NASCAR, I remember when NASCAR was actually cool. We should appreciate the moment right now, because President Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime president. He's a once-in-a-lifetime personality. We should appreciate what we have right now, because it's not ever happening again. It's not ever happening. We are going to look back on this time with him as president, and we are going to go, man, I miss that guy. Man, I miss how it was. Just appreciate it while it's here, because rarely in life do you actually get a chance to do that. Rarely in life do you just go, yeah, I want to appreciate the moment. But we are living in that moment right now with President Trump. Piano Dean says, enjoy your trip, Jeremy. It's important to get out of the house every now and then to remind yourself why you don't get out of the house very much. Blast Radius says Democrats crying about 58 white South African refugees fleeing real persecution, but welcomes in 58,000 criminal non-whites from all parts of Latin America running away from prosecution. It's amazing, isn't it? It really is amazing. River Miles for 20 says it's time. The White House needs IMAX for these peak cinema Trump moments. Absolutely. It is glorious, to say the least. Let's see. Solo Felix says, is it the Calergy plan in full effect by the evil left? Subway J says Trump owning the Africans and libs, LOL. Heavy D at the movies. Ursay was treated for an overdose back in December 2024. I remember he had drug problems. I do remember that. Okay, we got to talk about I don't know if now again, you'll have to forgive me if there's any stuff I am missing, because like I said, I have been out and about all day and some of the stuff I'm catching up on, but we got to talk about Dan Bongino. So I think everybody realizes that I think that there's no doubt that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are lying. I just believe they're lying. I just don't believe them at all. And I don't know what is going on. I don't believe what they're saying at all. Look at this clip from 2023, Dan Bongino versus, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, do you remember, for my wrestling fans, do you remember the Monday night after Stone Cold Steve Austin won his first WWF championship? And he came out there. So he came out there, and Vince McMahon demanded that he goes corporate. So the following Monday, a week later, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out in a suit and tie, you know, and he walks out there and he does everything Vince tells him to do. He's completely neutered. Now, it was Stone Cold was working Vince, but before you saw the real Stone Cold show up, that's what Dan Bongino looks like right now. He looks completely neutered.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Listen,
that is amazing. And the thing that, like, the mind-blowing thing here is the lack of self-awareness. The lack of self-awareness from him. You don't get to become one of the single biggest live streamers in the entire world by calling out government corruption and communicating directly with the people, and then suddenly forget how to communicate with the people. You just don't. It would be like if me and Gary suddenly got access to go investigate Lucasfilm. And suddenly we go investigate Lucasfilm, and then me and Gary walk out in suits and ties, and very calmly we go, Kathleen Kennedy is the greatest leader. She's the greatest producer. She's done a fantastic job with Star Wars. And just walk away. And you're all going to be like, what the fuck just happened? What do you mean? Why are you guys acting like that? Dan Bongino built his following off of specifically calling out government corruption. And one of the focuses was the Epstein thing. And so for him to just go, he killed himself. I know these things. He killed himself. And you're like, what? So like if Dan Bongino would have been like, hey, look, you know, for years, I have questioned the authenticity behind this Epstein situation. And I understand that there are millions of people out there that will not believe what I'm saying right now. And I totally get that. And you shouldn't believe what I'm telling you right now, because we should never believe what the government is saying to us. And we have to be more transparent to show you what we've seen so that you will believe what we believe now. But until you see that, I don't expect you to take my words at face value. But here's what I believe. If he would have said it like that, I'm not saying everyone would have been happy, but at least you would have said, like, at least the real Dan Bongino is still in there. That's not real Dan Bongino. And now I'm not saying I used to watch Bongino and all that, but I've seen enough of this guy's clips to know that this guy that's sitting in the suit and tie with a very kind of like calm demeanor, very direct, not giving any substance, that ain't him. That ain't him at all. And I did see something that was I thought was pretty interesting because where's it at right here? Let me see if I can find it. What the fuck? Did the quartering follow? He followed me back? Hang on. Quartering followed me back. I was about to call him out. Fuck. Unless it was a glitch. Now it says the quartering follows me. Hang on. Now it says the quartering follows me. I don't know what happened. You remember last week I showed you it did not say follows you. But what's interesting is Dan Bongino unfollowed the quartering right here. So I was going to say it's funny because the quartering unfollowed me, but either way, whatever. Okay, so Dan Bongino tweets out, always speak the truth and you'll never be burdened by the pressure of having to remember your web of lies. Quartering responds, let us see this magical Epstein file that was so convincing. Dan Bongino unfollows the quartering. Like, you tell me, you guys have watched Bongino more than I have. Does this sound like the Dan Bongino that you guys followed and watched all those years? Does this sound like him? Does this sound like the Dan Bongino that you know? This is insane, dude. What is going on? What is happening? Everybody that has paid attention to this guy for all of these years is dumbfounded right now at what we're seeing. It doesn't make any sense. And what makes it more confusing, he works for Trump. He works for Trump. Why are you acting like this? I'm very confused. I don't like it. And as I said, the thing that we love about Trump is that he never, ever stopped being Trump. He's always been Trump. When Trump, before he became president, he was an asshole. He talked shit. He called people out. He would always respond and insult people. If you insult Trump, he's going to insult you twice as bad. He's going to hammer you. So why the sudden change? Now, I know that there's some people out there that are saying, hey, they're working a bigger angle here that you don't know about. I don't really believe that, but I will gladly be wrong if that's the case. But it still doesn't change the fact that every single person that's concerned about Bongino and Kash Patel right now should absolutely be concerned. Absolutely. I mean, to me, that's QAnon bullshit. People are saying, oh, yeah, you guys just got to understand there's a bigger plan. And no, what? I will be happy to be proven wrong. Okay. I will be happy to get those answers. But I'm not seeing it right now, man. It really is very concerning to me that you're seeing such a difference in their mannerisms and how they're carrying themselves and things like that. So, I don't know, man. I guess we'll find out at some point. We also had what I think is just a legendary beatdown of Jake Tapper that happened yesterday from Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly she took his balls, ripped them off, and shoved them down his throat. And I got to look for it right now and find it. But she just absolutely destroyed him. And it was one of the most glorious things I've seen in a long time. Before that, hang on. Look at this. This is one more clip from Bongino that I saw. So right here, this is because this is Luke's quoting Bongino, always speak the truth and you'll never be burdened by the pressure of having to remember your web of lies. Dan Bongino.
I'm telling you, there could be some national security problems here because, ladies and gentlemen, nobody knows how much material people have on Jeffrey Epstein, who was videoed, where those videos are. I was told by someone a long time ago, a very knowledgeable reporter, it's not my information. I'm not hiding. You're hiding up for some foreign government. You're protecting. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm only telling you what I was told. That some governments around the world may have some material.
And it's like, who told you these things? Are you investigating the people that told you these things since you don't believe them anymore?
That's related to the Epstein thing. Bill Clinton was knee deep in this, man. I have a very, very good source. I've told you this story. Forgive me for repeating it if you're a P1, but some people are new here and never heard this. He was on the plane with Bill Clinton and Epstein on one of Epstein's planes when Bill Clinton was on the plane with some women who, according to my source, looked underage. Why was my source on the plane? Dan, you know people who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein? No, I don't. He was working. Right? It's unbelievable. The guy killed himself, and now nobody's going to know. My buddy was on the plane and was very uncomfortable. He didn't see anything directly, but there was like apparently some area in the back of the plane where everybody went to go, whatever, do their thing. My friend's not comfortable with it. They land and he's like to the guy who's running the show, if you know what I mean, I ain't going to be part of whatever's going on this plane. And the guy who's running the whole thing says, well, you need to go home.
Get off my plane.
That's the Air Force One thing, too. It's kind of like a similar story. And he says, you need to go home. So they send him home. But he saw Clinton on the plane with Epstein in the little area with people he thought didn't look of age. I've told this story 1,000 times, and it's amazing how, because it's the Dan Bongino show where we've been right about just about everything, everyone in the media ignores it, even though this source is still out there. Anyone can talk to him.
And then this
says, you know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? I'm absolutely sure of that he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset. There's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up, and they're the ones who have all this stuff.
That guy sitting there in a suit and tie telling you that very calmly, by the way, that, you know, he killed himself. It's no big deal. We know. And you're like, what do you mean you know? What? How do you go from that to that? So again, it's very concerning and it's kind of fascinating. I think Alex Jones had, in my opinion, probably had the best response to all of this. If I can find it, Alex Jones' response was just perfect. Here it is right here. Alex Jones, here it is.
Just don't sit there and tell us, oh, we've closed it, he acted alone. Just don't sit there and tell us, oh, we've closed it, he acted alone. We have the files. Don't, if you're going to crap on me or piss on me, don't rub it in and don't tell me it's raining, okay? Please. Just, can you not, just as a PR issue, will you stop it, Kosh and Bongino? I know, obviously, Dan, nobody's smarter than you. But if you want to go from being very popular to very unpopular and thus hurt Trump as well, just keep going. Keep going, tough guy. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm getting angry. And it's very insulting to the American people to say Epstein killed himself. No one buys it. It's very insulting to say that brainwashed mind control, classic mind control operative acted alone. Please stop.
This part right here.
The one that trained, where the federal law enforcement trained, all that, his cell phone all around the federal building in D.C., the FBI headquarters. Stop it. If you're not going to do anything about it, just shut up about it then.
That line right there. If you're not going to do anything about it, then just shut up. Pam Bondi sat there with those nonsensical Epstein files, those binders, called all those influencers out there to stand up and pretend like, oh, they're about to release them. Now these guys are talking about in interviews. This line from Alex Jones sums it up perfectly.
Headquarters, huh? Stop it. If you're not going to do anything about it, just shut up about it then.
Yep.
But that's only going to encourage the group inside the government, the faction, to try to kill the big guy again. I'm not trying to create some controversy. Alex Jones turns on Trump, turns on Bongino. It's not that. Please don't insult us anymore. Please, please, please. God, I mean, it's like getting up at a dinner party and taking a dump on a plate and telling everybody it's chocolate ice cream. I mean, just do not do it. Gives me a headache. You know, we had a well-known, very famous private investigators that were hired by Trump's people to go spend months in Pennsylvania to investigate it. And they came back and talked about the FBI pulling up and threatening them and following them and telling them to stop their investigation. And then that same FBI now is still in charge, obviously, and is just telling us to just stop investigating. Well, we're not going to. You guys can tell us, there's nothing to see here and crap like that, but we're not going to shut up about it. So you can be guaranteed of that. If you want to know about it, go put the article back up, the Hagman investigation into it. So,
yeah, man. So the whole thing's very, very depressing, and we have people have every right to question what's going on. Every right to question this. It's insane. Eric for 20 says, remember when they said they had all the Epstein files and they were going to release the whole thing to the public like 4 months ago? Yeah, me too. Hey, where are those, by the way? Absolutely. And this is why people are so pissed off. You're insulting our intelligence. That's what you're doing right now. And it's embarrassing. Valientes, my boy Ivan, who will be with us with Park Hoppin' tomorrow. What's up, man? With 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, brother. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Eric K says, Clinton used to dim the lights in the Oval Office, but that was for mood when Monica stripped for him. Your Barmy says, most awkward meeting since a month ago, LOL. JRG Project says, these 6 months under Trump have felt like 3 years in office, when in fact we are only in year 1 of 4. It's insane. It is insane. RDH says, Peyton Manning recently became part owner of the Colts. Really? Okay. Let's see. Kai Guy says, Ram, I want to say how you say his fucking, the South African president. I just want you to know this isn't personal. Elon, it feels kind of personal. Your Barmy says, Rob is a king. Trump Mage level 199. Why am I giving money to this Chanel stream? Taker says, don't walk, run. It's a great channel, and Andrew over there made a perfect video on the whole gifted plane. Biden was trying to acquire that plane. Noted. Wasser Bottle says, geography, time, simple. Jimmy, on what continent is Yugoslavia? On what continent does Yugoslavia reside? I don't fucking know. Let's see. Toke Fan says, Spurs won a trophy by scoring an own goal. Modalicious says, South African president, there's no genocide. Also, South African president 5 minutes later, well, there's genocide, but it's caused by global warming. We need money to stop it. Let's see. Is it Usage says, maybe they're playing dumb to lull suspects into false security while investigating. Also, you're gay. Thank you for the 10. Logan Miller says, I have to work with many two-hat wearing Riris in my time in government. They put on a tough boy mask until they got to be Mr. Government. F them both. Mike Hill says, WNBA considering banning fans from booing it to create a safer place for visiting fans. There's no fucking way that's true. There's no way. Is this true? good Lord. Oh my God. If you've ever, like, if we've ever seen a league made for women and gays, that right there is it. That's it. Can't boo. Good Lord. Blast Radio says, what's sickeningly hilarious about the press conference was that white liberal hack at NBC yelling about a jet after Trump exposed the murderous talk and behavior of racist blacks down in South Africa. Yeah, we watched that clip too. It was absolutely great. Mark Reale says, the Scrolls got Bongino. John freaking Murdoch for another 50. Says, yes, you have a shithole stream, but it's a nice shithole as far as they go. Here, you deserve this, dude. John always shows up. Every stream I'm on, it's insane. Except for the gaming streams, but that's fine. Maybe he's not a gamer, but he doesn't show up to the gaming streams, which is totally fine. But every panel stream or a stream that I'm talking on, he always shows up. John freaking Murdoch. Let's go. Oracle of Doom says, it's my opinion that large scary men with pew-pews to certain family members is, let's see. In my opinion, that large scary man with pew-pews to certain family members is why these men are so different. Sammy says, was minding my own business and someone started screaming at me because I drive a Tesla. I told them thank you, pulled out my MAGA hat, and bought some Tesla stock. Never surrender. EMDS is for real. Honestly, I can't say it's like a lot, but like my investment into, and again, I've never bought stock before, but when Trump said buy, I bought, and I bought Tesla stock. And I've only made money off of it. So Trump led me in the right direction for sure. So Normal Man says, the real question is, what did they see and who is holding them hostage? That is the real question. Eric K says, we all just heard it. Jeremy and Gary think that Kathleen Kennedy is the greatest leader, producer, studio head ever. It's clipped. Cancel Jeremy, cancel Gary. Pirate of Las Vegas says, Men in Black showed Bongino a pic and said, that's a nice family you have there. It's certainly what it seems like. It's pretty crazy. Zioni says Trump was on the play to just saying. Logan Miller says Trump should have hired Alex Jones. He wouldn't cuck. Mitchell Field says you can't just turn on the lights and not expect the cockroaches to scatter. You have to mislead them that everything is all right and lay the traps. I hope so. But I have a hard time believing it. But listen, I will happily be right, or I'll happily admit that I was wrong if these guys are right. So we'll see. Ryder Guy says the only thing I can think as to why the sudden shift happened is because there are some big name Republicans on that list. Why else would they pivot? Maybe, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess in theory, because if there are big name Republicans on that list, I guess that the time to expose them would be towards the end of Trump's term and not the beginning of Trump's term, because the left would want, and I firmly believe Trump's not on there. I think that's almost a given that Trump's not on that. I think I'm like 99.9% sure that he's not on that, because if you look it up, Trump kicked Epstein out of his, I don't know if it was Mar-a-Lago, but it was one of his clubs, but he banned Epstein. This was long before Epstein was busted. This long before anybody was aware of Jeffrey Epstein, but Trump banned him because of some type of inappropriate behavior with, I believe, one of the other club members' daughters or wives or something like that. I can't remember. The story's out there though. But yes, Trump banned him a long time ago from his club and basically banished him. It was Mar-a-Lago. Okay. So yeah. So I absolutely don't believe that at all. And just in theory, like, obviously I don't think, I know for a fact, well, not a fact because I don't know Trump, but as much as I believe that Michael Jackson's innocent from the shit that they've accused him of, I don't believe Donald Trump's guilty of any of the things that Jeffrey Epstein's involved in. But I do believe that there are some big name Republicans that could be very much involved. Absolutely prominent Republicans that we probably all know their names very well. I could believe Republicans, major Republicans, could be on that list 100%. 100%. And that would be an absolute nightmare for Trump. It would probably destroy everything that he's trying to build. That is the most realistic scenario that I can buy. I can't believe that, like, I just, there's so many scenarios out there of people just saying this. That's the one scenario I could see as to how it could be detrimental to Trump. But that's still a theory, and we need answers, and hopefully we'll get those answers. Bottom line is Donald Trump is doing a fantastic job overall, but this Epstein thing is a fucking problem. The chat says, Jeremy, we miss Alex. Please have him on FNT again. Don't we? Somebody in my chat, or somebody was trolling me the other day, and they were like, how much did you pay Alex Jones? I'm like, pay Alex Jones for what? Like, to get him on FNT? I'm like, nothing. I didn't pay Alex Jones shit. Robert Barnes gave me Alex Jones' phone number, said text Alex. I text Alex Jones, talk to him. I was going to have him on Geeks and Gamers, and I decided it'd be better to have him on FNT. So I called Gary. I'm like, hey, do you want Alex Jones on FNT? And Gary's like, you fucking kidding me? Yes, we want Alex Jones. So I was like, all right, cool. So I talked to Alex. I talked to his producer. We got it set up, had him on Friday Night Tights, and we had him on again later on. But I'll never forget the conversation I had with Alex after his appearance on Friday Night Tights. He would send me voice text, like he would record like a voice. He would record himself talking and send it to me in text form. And he's just talking. And he apologized for steamrolling. He's like, yeah, I get a little worked up, man. It was so funny. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, can I ask you something off the record? He goes, nothing I say is off the record. You can ask me whatever you want. You can repeat anything I say. It's all good. I was like, thank you, Alex. Jimmy Rings Halo says the South African government making a treasonous act for their citizens, calling out the treatment of the white farmers. Wow, butthurt much. Kate Banfield says, what's up, biznatches? Happy incoming Memorial Day. Thank you. The chat says, those two Fed goofballs look like they were showed the truth about UFOs or something. Jimmy says, it's Jimmy time at Epic tomorrow. Who else is going? I'm going. And too bad no gaming stream. I thought they were going on the gaming stream. Let's see. Am I wrong? Let's see here. Let's see. I don't know. I thought they were running golf tonight though. So where's that one at? Fantastic Knox says, I got that one. Oh, wait, no. South African president said there's no genocide. South African president after showing the video. Okay, I'll look into it. Glad Trump showed that. Yeah, man. Like, what? Storm Shadow says, who is manipulating Cash Bongino, the smoking man or the manicured man? The truth is out there. Maybe one day we'll find out. Mario Golf stream is happening. Okay. Mitchell Field says, I'm glad you're updating the Geeks and Gamers website. The new Breed AI generator is going to carry Geeks and Gamers for years to come. I am. It's costing some money. It's going to cost a pretty penny for everything we're doing, but it's necessary to get to where we need to go. Grand Potato says, the people and things that resided in the shadows answer to no law or person on this planet. They only answer to the arch enemy. Granola Grin says, now we just need Trump to invite high-profile guests from Epstein client list into the Oval Office and dim the lights. JM Elliott says, why are we giving money to this shithole? Chris Swain says, that screw-up is what happens due to your hamburger helper and Culver's diet of yours. I don't eat Culver's anymore, and I haven't had hamburger helper in way too long. But no, I gave up Culver's. I gave up most fast food, although traveling Dude, I found out like I stopped eating fast food for the most part. No, I'm not saying I cut it out completely, but I'd say but once a week I'll eat it. But like on the road trip, I stopped at Whataburger, and then I had later that day I had what did I have? Shake Shack, and I felt like shit. And I'm like, damn, this is what happens when you stop eating shitty food every day. Because now I can't. I that would be something I was just used to eat all the time, and now I can't. I felt like crap. I'm like, is this what it does to you? Holy shit. Ray David said, it's not a lie if you believe it. George Costanza, the time for talk is over. Show the evidence already. Hail the 199. The Clapper Cheek says, the stress of the job has destroyed Bongino's hairline. Greedo Gaming says, what happened to Dan Bongino? It's almost scary, man. It's pretty damn scary. The Red Necron says, hail the 199 in chat. Jeremy is still mega gay. East Coast Toast Boy says, not going to lie. I was waiting for the African president to ask Trump, why are you gay? Why are you? I got you, East Coast Toasty Boy. Vault 95 says, CobraCast Field Report. What's up, Vault 95? Good to see you, brother. Always supporting, always standing by for more gaming streams, aren't you? Charles says, South African president claims he did not know what was going on. How can that be possible not to know? I know, man. It's crazy. Somebody else that claimed that they didn't know what was going on, that would be one Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper on with Megyn Kelly. Watch this.
But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seem to be running cover for the president. I don't think interested. That's true. Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to watch somebody on stage search for
so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you
stuttering.
were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world. Okay. That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura.
You hear how he's just talking down to her. The disrespect, the way that he is disrespecting her and talking down to her.
Trump, thank you so much.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
She was totally right.
This is so frustrating. I'm so glad that Megyn Kelly called him out. And, we're not the only one. Not the only one, because we got Joe Scarborough here.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. So I said that this was Biden at his best. Sure. That's what I saw. That's what other people saw. I was obviously wrong. So I'm not sure what my takeaway is here.
Dude. So this clown was on and got questioned about it right here. I got to say, dude, I want you, chat, I want you to help keep up, okay? I want you to help keep up with how many times Joe Scarborough mentions Donald Trump's name on a question about Joe Biden and the things he said about Joe Biden, count how many times he mentions the name Donald Trump in this answer. And holy shit, you want to talk about somebody that's just spinning his wheels? It is crazy.
Looking back at that, do you say, well, it was misleading to say best Biden ever without caveating it and say, except on the days when he's not the best Biden ever?
Well, but I never saw those days personally.
Well, you did because you saw him address a dead congresswoman, and you saw him in South Carolina.
A dead congresswoman, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, more than that. I mean, I can show you. I can show you the RNC clip reels. There were plenty of days in public when he was not the best Biden ever, and of course, shortly after,
he stumbled and bumbled around. Mark, I mean, yeah, he certainly did. Donald Trump did. Other politicians did. But it's actually the same case as a lot of times when I've gone in and talked to Donald Trump. We've gone to Donald Trump, and I've heard the media narrative around Donald Trump, and certainly I've been very critical of Donald Trump. And when I leave, I have a better understanding, just like Jeffrey Goldberg did a couple of weeks ago. I have a better understanding of where Donald Trump is mentally, if Donald Trump is losing it, like people have said through the years or not. And so again,
he said Trump's name like 7 times. And in the first minute, it was about Joe Biden. It was about Joe Biden. And he said Donald Trump like 7 times.
Am I going to look at a clip that's gone viral and pay more attention to that than 2.5, 3 hours I had with a guy one-on-one going around the world? No, I'm just not going to. Are some of the clips bad? Yeah, they certainly are bad. I can understand why people would see that without the context and say that there was a problem with that, especially because I said start rolling your tape right here. It's like but when I look at that,
dude, this guy gets paid to talk for a living, and he can't even complete a coherent sentence right now because he is so flustered. Just like Obama and just like 95% of the people in the media, if he doesn't have his notes right in front of him, he cannot talk. He cannot talk. This is why I say, like, these people can't do. I'm not saying I have a hard job, okay? Because I don't. Streaming is the easiest gig in the world. It's not a real job, okay? But what it does need is you do need to have some authenticity. You actually have to know what you're talking about to an extent, or be willing to say, I don't know. Like, I don't know. We'll just have some Yugoslavia, or I don't fucking know. If just be honest with your audience. That's all you have to be. This guy has said nothing in a minute and a half except for Donald Trump's name like 7 times.
Tape, based on what I saw with Biden, based on the time that I spent with Biden, based on the hundreds of hours that I talked to people who talked to Biden and people that worked with Biden, and were with him day in and day out, good friends that I know, that I trusted before Biden was president, that I trust now that Biden's not president. I mean, put in the proper context, I'm just not going to freak out and melt down on 1 or 2 clips here or there. And again, he bumbled around and he stumbled around, but he has for quite some time. That didn't seem to me to get in the way of Joe Biden being able to analyze the most important issues. And I certainly think he has a better grasp on it than probably the overwhelming majority of his critics, or certainly did when I spoke with him. But again, the question is, who is somebody else running the government for him? Is he incapable of running meetings? I've never talked to anybody that has said Joe Biden's not capable of running meetings. The complaint that I've heard, not only from, and I hope people are still listening to me because it is important.
Dude, you lost people the moment you said Donald Trump's name like 7 times within like a 30-second time frame. At that point, it was over for you. Like, now we're just memeing and laughing at you at this point.
The only complaints I've heard about Biden internally was that he was angry. He would often get angry, and that it was basically his way or the highway. He would listen to other people, but the Afghanistan issue is a perfect example. He had everybody from Mark Milley, every general, everybody saying, don't get out of Afghanistan. But it was, I think at times it would have been good for him to yield a little bit more to some of his advisors than he did. That's one thing. The second thing is, again, this is multi-layered. I talked to a good friend that I had in the French delegation when they had tough negotiations. I think it was right after the state dinner, the French state dinner, before the state dinner. And they
I can't take it no more. It's almost over anyway. But there's another video, because I actually commented on this video. And I think it's funny because Stephen A. Smith got called out the other day and he responded. And I was kind of blown away by his response because his response was so bad. His response was terrible. Terrible response. Okay. And we're going to get to that here in just a minute, but I want to close the door on this discussion. You will continue to see people in the media get exposed, and they are going to fluster just like this when they are asked about it. To Jake Tapper's credit, at least he was calm, cool, and collected when he was getting grilled by Megyn Kelly. Joe Scarborough's not even getting grilled, and he couldn't handle it. Like, holy shit, man. Like, Scarborough was flustered big time, and that was a more friendly conversation that he was having, and he couldn't handle it. These guys are going to continue to be exposed, and these guys right now, they are on the Titanic, and it is sinking. And their TDS won't allow them to understand what's happening. And they're just sitting there, and they're going to go down with the Titanic. And I say, let them, because that's exactly what's happening right now. Their TDS is so bad that they cannot even understand what's happening. Let them sit there and go down with the Titanic, because they are in trouble. Okay, we got to move on to this Stephen A. Smith video. So I got called out on Patrick Bet David podcast. My response, I commented on this video, and I was like, this video is so fucking bad. Okay, this is a bad video from Stephen A. Smith. Here we go.
Patrick Bet David, folks. All right. This is before we get to your tweets. I want to address some sound that I heard from the Patrick Bet David podcast regarding yours truly and my chances as a potential presidential candidate. Listen to this, please.
I like Stephen A. I like the sports talk, and he's a great freaking. He's the best in the game.
You're not with it. You're not.
I'm not
just
buying,
because he didn't vote for Trump.
Not vote. No, it's the flip flop of every single person.
You're calling Stephen A. a flip flopper.
Every single one,
100% he is,
of these guys that were on the left. Every guy's go now, from the Chanks to the Stephen A's to the Chris Cuomo's to all these people. I'm not buying it at all. Okay. And you say this all the time. It's the market. What does the market want? They're shifting because of the market. Listen, with all due respect, I'm not buying none of that shit from none of them. Okay. Because they were still on Kamala. They were still on Biden. They're still on that anti-American bullshit sentiment. Because if you want to put in people like Biden, and you want to put in people like if you voted for Kamala Harris, what the hell do you even stand on? What was your thing? Just not Trump. So it just shifted. All that Trump hating, he's the worst, he's Hitler. I'm not saying Steven said this, but all of them were anti-Trump. We've been saying Trump is this guy since when? Since 2016. We've had this guy's back. And it's not just blind loyalty, Tom. It wasn't that. It was the proof in the pudding. He came in with Russia collusion. Obama and all these guys freaking spying on him. He had all this shit. He had COVID. He had all this stuff, a Russian asset, all that bullshit Putin talk. All right. And then now he's back. Everybody voted for him, and they're all changing their tune because they have to.
Oh, Lord.
100%. No, not 100%, 1,000%. Everything Vinny said, it explains Stephen A. Smith. It explains the Young Turks. It explains all these guys, and I don't buy any of it. Specifically, though, with Stephen A. Smith. Because Stephen A. Smith is Stephen A. Smith makes Tim Pool not look like a fence rider, because that's how much of a fence rider Stephen A is. Stephen A is the fence rider. He will not take an official stance on anything. He plays every side that he possibly can. He hedges his bets. He's been doing this in sports forever, and now he's doing it in politics. Stephen A. Smith is a very, very articulate, and he's a charismatic person who knows to say the words that makes you think that he knows what he's talking about. He's very good. He's a very good communicator. I've been watching this guy for 2 decades on ESPN or more, probably. He is a extremely good communicator, and he knows how to use certain words to make people think he knows what he's talking about. And he will use that skill and ability to get involved with politics. I absolutely believe that. But I'm glad that people are calling him out for being a fence rider.
Vinny, respectfully, specifically on this particular topic, I don't give a shit what you give a shit about. I'm going to say it twice so we know that I wasn't stuttering. I don't give a shit what you give a shit about as it pertains to this particular subject. Because the one here that is at least somewhat wrong, but clearly devoid of empathy or compassion or understanding is you. Now, before I get any further, let me say this. I love Vinny. I do. As I do Adam, as I do Tom, as I do Patrick Bet Davis. And in the interest of full disclosure, before I get any further, I got a lot of love for them and their podcasts, but I got a lot of love on a personal level for a guy by the name of Patrick Bet David, the leader of that crew, who's become a great friend and somebody that has helped me. And I'll put it out on Front Street. He was one of the people that I was receiving advice from when I was negotiating a couple of my contracts. So I have a personal affinity and affection for that man, and Adam too. And Adam is
Yeah.
I got love for Adam too. He knows why. That's my brother right there. Vinny, this is directed to you. Could you calm down, please?
The fact that he's asking Vinny to calm down. Now, I'm not going to put all of you through the pain of watching this entire video, okay? I'm not going to make you do that. But it's important that we listen to that one more time, okay?
Vinny, this is directed to you. Could you calm down?
Now, what's interesting about that is if you go a little bit deeper into this, this is how Stephen A. is talking.
I don't think that will ever be resolved. But the flip side to that, however, is this. I don't like people telling me what I can't do.
What? You just told Vinny he needs to calm down. And now you say that.
And I'm not speaking derogatory at getting to the center. So now Trump has an opportunity to show me that he ain't going to lean far right, that he's going to be somewhat of a centrist, just the way he was as a businessman when he was being a donor to a whole bunch of Democrats and rife with Democratic ideology sifting through his blood. We don't have to go to how liberal he was in certain ways. That's why I voted for Kamala Harris. But why do I believe that I could pull off anything or I could be any damn thing that I want to be? You know why, Vinny? It's because I could talk to people like you.
So we're not going to calm down, Stephen A. Stephen A, just calm down a little bit, buddy. Okay? Just calm down a little bit. Anyway, I didn't want to watch the whole thing. If you want to watch this whole video, you can. But Stephen A, all he did to summarize this response, Vinny won. Vinny was right. That's the response. Because that's all Stephen A's video did was proved Vinny right. All of it. He just proved him right. Every single bit of it. It did nothing but make Vinny look even better the whole way through. It was glorious. Star Wars and Stripes, what's up? Why the hell is Adam even in the PBD podcast? He's terrible, and Brown noses Patrick. Yeah, look, man, they've got a pretty good crew over there, so it works. I don't like Adam, but it works. So, Infinity Player says Cash and Dan should admit that any reasonable person, especially their former audience members, would view them as having no credibility at this point. I agree. Patriotic Eagle says the fact that Jake covered up, denied Biden's mental decline and then wrote a book about it is just sad. He instead wrote the end of the mainstream media. He instead wrote the end of the mainstream media credibility. Yep. Ira Skywalker says, great stream as always. I'm not a bot. I appreciate you. Beardo is still the best. Arkham City goes first. Have a good night. Hail the 199. Thank you, brother. Solo Felix says, maybe Scarborough intern knew. Let's ask. Oh, wait. Yeah, Joe. Yeah. TJTK says, I don't know, but I know Biden is as sharp as a tack. Mr. Bentham says, she was right. It's like pulling teeth. Fuck these people. All of these reporters choose the wrong side and have lost all their credibility. Yep. Subway J says ABC, Forbes both put out articles saying false claims about South Africa. Might want to look into it. I have those bookmarked. I'll have to look at those another time. Grand Potato says Stephen A. Smith is a fig. Confirmed. Jay Hellstrom says don't play Elden Ring Night Ring next week. It won't be good content. No one will watch that. This is not reverse psychology. I'm not a doctor. I'm looking forward to the reaction to all of that. I need to finish Elden Ring. With that said, I'm going to have to call it here, guys, because I have to be up at like 4:30 in the morning for Epic Universe. If you're not subscribed to Park Hoppin', please check us out tomorrow. We're going to be live multiple times tomorrow from the park. I will be there. Also, I will be live Friday night. I will be live Saturday as well. So you're going to get multiple CobraCast. I was curious if I was going to be able to get one in on Friday and Saturday. CobraCast happens on Friday. CobraCast happens on Saturday. So it will be happening. It's going to be a fun time tomorrow, but that's why I'm here. I'm in Orlando. I'm at Universal Studios right now. Epic Universe, the opening day is tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hot and it's going to be crowded, but it's going to be fun and we're going to be covering it. So Park Hoppin', make sure you check it out. And again, I appreciate all of you for all the support. Thank you guys so much. And yes, I will be live Friday night. I will be live Saturday. And I'm trying to do as many, I'm just trying to do it I don't know, man. I know that I missed a few CobraCasts there because I have family stuff going on, but I miss it, man. I miss it. I love, talking to all of you guys and gals. I love talking about the news. President Trump is the content president. So, of course, we're going to have to cover all that. So the chances, Jeremy, you have such a hard job. It's the easiest gig in the world. And that is just a fact. It's the easiest gig, and it's only I'm only able to do it because of all of you. So I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow from Park Hoppin' from Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida. So you guys have a great night, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.